Okay, this is the BBC version of the "Since I've Been Loving You," which I think is the best, well, sounding recording. When you listen to those, you know, on that BBC session, there's a bunch of different BBC sessions, different times they went in and recorded with BBC or whatever. But those ones from April 1971, which has "Stairway to Heaven," I think a couple of tunes on there, maybe "Immigrant Song" or whatever, are such a beefy sounding recording. Very similar to the recording from the Royal Albert Hall, but I think it's the best recording. But all the guys are playing great. Bonham's singing his brains out. It has that real, the low end in these BBC, the April 71 recordings is so powerful. And Bonham is just playing his brains out. His drums sound excellent. He's playing, he's at the top of his game, in my opinion. I think it's the best sounding recording, sonic-wise and playing-wise, of probably all the guys. So, Since I've Been Loving You, this one's going to be a biatch to tackle because, I mean, it's John Bonham. You know, he's playing all over the joint. But what I found is, and it's in the other Zeppelin videos I put up, there's a lot of motifs and a lot of patterns that Bonham does. And I'm going to take my phone out here because I need to time this, because I'm probably going to have to break this down to a few videos, because I tried making a couple of videos and they go on forever with this. So every 15 minutes or so I'm just going to stop it and make another video, so like part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever. But bear with me here. I mean, I'm not John Bonham, obviously, you know, so, but I'm doing, you know, I have a really good ear, and I know when people are doing it wrong, but I'll do my best here. But I can definitely, you'll definitely, I think, get a lot of tips out of this. So put this over here. Maybe a timer, but in any case, what he does is, the whole song is obviously in 6/8, and Bonham is the master of 6/8. I mean, he was a great drummer anyway, but I mean, 6/8, he always knew where the 1 was. He could start throwing stuff all over the place. He'd start it, you know, on the and a 3 of 2 bars before, doing all kinds of weird stuff, and suddenly come out on the 1, and, you know, he'd throw Jimmy Page off all the time. You'd always hear Jimmy Page being off, you know. John Paul Jones would always locked on him. But anyway, so there's a few things. What I did was I wrote down some notes from the recording. I used to be more familiar with the recording, but what I did is I have some times here that you can, you know, this song, Since I've Been Loving You, this version is on YouTube. I'm surprised it's still up, because, I mean, you know, normally the Warner Brothers, or Warner's Music Group, or Jimmy Page's guys, or whatever, they're all over these people. They, you know, they pull it down. But anyway, you can find it on there. But the times are accurate on the video for the actual recording. So I have, well, there's a couple things I'll do. There's a couple motifs that Bonham always did, like 6/8 motifs, which he was like the golden god of doing. On other videos, there's some of these things I've already played in other videos, but again, like that pattern, that is a cornerstone of so much of Bonham's stuff. And what he used to do, you can practice that. And that's in a triplet 6/8 feel. So that's like a chunk of a lot of what he does. And then there's another pattern that he has actually played before in songs, and variations off it. So what I do is it actually will fill a whole bar. So, okay. It's like a Latin thing. Da da do da do da do da do do da ba da. So. So on 1, so we'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the 1 is the bass drum to start it. So anyway, here it is again. So the first half of it And then the second half. So, first half. So then the whole thing. So if you're playing like the 6/8. Once he really get going, he double up the. He'd go to 16th. With the 6/8 feel. Anyway, as that doesn't directly apply, like he doesn't play that exact line in this song in a spot, that is kind of gives you insight into the way he thinks, like especially when you get to the beat for the song, before the solo, when he starts, he skips around with like the... like that kind of thing, but actually specifically, let me see here. Anyway, as it relates to that beat, sometimes what he'll do is he won't do that exact pattern, but he'll like... You know what I mean? Like it's like a funk kind of thing. Anyway, but when he's going crazy in 6/8 land, it just, and he sort of duct tapes it all together. It just, you're not sure what's going on, but it just sounds awesome. So I'd say that's a good thing to practice. I digress. But actually, it's interesting. He does that fill in Stairway to Heaven. It's a similar thing. You know, he uses these patterns all over the place. Stairway to Heaven live version, Madison Square Garden song. I mean, it's the same. Coming into the solo. So. No, wait. Actually, go back to the snare. So it's the same thing. But again, same thing. Into the song. So at like 120, you know, early on he has the thing with the hi-hat. Actually, I think his hi-hat is probably without the bass drum. You know, I mean, that's just... but I mean, that's, you know, classic Bonham-y thing. But yeah, so 120 to about 30, he has like... He's got a great right foot, you know what I mean? And so he's just playing a lot of notes. So that's really all it is. But he kind of does that in there. And then he can, you know, it's funny, then later sometimes he'll like dance it up. So, and I don't know if he does it there, but... Hang on a second. So... Now, do you see how that even though he doesn't do exactly what I did there in the song, he'd he'd do like a shuffle, like I mean like a 6/8, and then I mean like he doesn't do it on the toms, but you get the idea. It's sort of like a broken up, like in your face suddenly from nice smooth 6/8 to like these bits of this. But then you can sort of invert all those little things. He didn't think it out that way, obviously, but I mean you can. I mean, so suddenly you have like, so like 1, 2, 3. That's what he does. I mean, you know, that's a lot of the gist of it. Now, I can't go through, I mean, I could, I guess, spend like 3 days going through each and every fill, and, you know, if I could slow it down, it'd be better. I don't have a record player. But eventually you could say, all right, well, this is exactly what Bonham's playing there. Well, you know, he didn't go into that day like, all right, like Neil Peart maybe recording and say, all right, well, you know what, right before this solo, I'm going to play exactly this. It's going to be, you know, I mean, I suppose he could have. I don't think he did. Obviously, he was just playing by the seat of his pants. But in any case, so I want to kind of just give the basic gist of what he does. Although there are certain things I will try to reproduce for you because I think they really are cool. And they are reproducible readily, pretty easily. So, so anyway, you have that. So, you know, so... That's what I think he did. And I have that in another video too to practice. Boom, boop boop bop boom, boop boop bop boom, boop boop bop boom, boop boop bop boom. So there's a couple points in the song where he does that. Namely in this early part too. He does it a little later too. My right foot isn't quite happening today, but anyway, so that's what he does though. Practice it slow. Anyway, so that's like 120, 124-ish. And then he gets into the, you know, let me check the time here, because I'm telling you, man, time can just go so freaking fast with this stuff. So, we're going to stop this one, I think. So, all right, from here we're going to go into the How I Love Ya, oh girl, or whatever.